Records in wrestling are a funny old thing, aren't they? In essence, you're trying to apply statistical achievement to an industry that is entirely scripted, which is, very obviously, quite silly. Like, if Jon Stewart had really wanted to stop Cena breaking Ric Flair's number of world titles, then he should have hit the writers with a chair instead. That's how it works. But still, the anomalous little patterns that emerge here and there can tell us a lot about how certain wrestlers are perceived within the company. Or, just offer us clues as to where creative are going with them. Nowhere does this count harder than pay-per-views, and thus here I am to do some nerdery. My name is Adam Cleary, and these are 8 unbelievable WWE pay-per-view records you won't believe. And before you say anything, no, I'm not counting pre-shows. But before we begin, why not subscribe to stay notified? Ding, ding, done. Number 8, the WWE title hasn't main evented a dual-branded pay-per-view since Battleground 2016. If there is anything on this earth having more of a mixed time than Adam Wilborn, I mean, on the one hand, look at his girlfriend, on the other hand, look at his life, it's the WWE Championship. The belt has been the MacGuffin at the center of underwhelming feuds, disappointing matches, and, well, Jinder's entire time in the main event. Sadly though, despite the belt's historic lineage and WWE's assertion that it is still the big one, it's taken a pronounced backseat to a Universal title that was barely seen for months after Lesnar won it at WrestleMania. Such is the state of its malaise that it hasn't been deemed important enough to feature in the main event of a single dual-branded pay-per-view since the brand split occurred in July of 2016. The Universal title has, and thanks to Extreme Rules, even the Intercontinental title has, but not the WWE Championship. Number 7, Bayley hasn't had a singles pay-per-view win since WrestleMania 33. One of the surprise results of WrestleMania 33 came in the Raw Women's Championship match, where, despite a resurgent Sasha Banks, a dominant Charlotte, or Nia Jax who was being built as a monster, Bayley retained her title. But in the time since then, well over a year and a half ago, she hasn't picked up a solitary singles win on pay-per-view. In fact, she's only appeared on 6 pay-per-views full stop in that time, which is another problem entirely. I mean, yes, she was on the winning team at Survivor Series last year, but she was also the first member eliminated. Hardly protected booking. Number 6, Becky Lynch didn't have a single pay-per-view win between SmackDown Women's Championship reigns. Yes, just gonna get into it now, the biggest injustice on the entire list. Between winning the vacant SmackDown Live Women's Championship at Backlash 2016 and winning it again at Hell in a Cell, Becky Lynch did not record a single win on pay-per-view. Not one. She lost title matches, she lost tag matches, she lost Survivor Series matches, and a Royal Rumble, but didn't manage a single win of any description in over 2 years. Now, yes, I can hear some of you screaming La Luchadora at your screen right now, but obviously that doesn't really count, and even if it did, that's still only one pay-per-view win in 2 years. Thankfully now though, with both her and me sitting pretty with those titles that are rightfully ours over our shoulders, all is well with the world. Number 5, Roman Reigns has now main evented more pay-per-views than Hulk Hogan. The main event slot is one of the great yardsticks in wrestling. Now, for this, I don't mean simply whatever match just happens to close a show, because between Royal Rumbles and Survivor Series matches, then Christ Ellsworth is a multi-time main eventer. I mean when the last match of the night is a one-on-one between 2 wrestlers. These one-on-one main events are ultimately where all storylines must lead, and as such, wrestlers see them as the biggest deal. Thus, we should too. There have been 225 of these matches in the 33 years the company have put these events on, and in that time, only 77 different wrestlers have had the honour of being in one. Cena and The Undertaker are tied for the most appearances in them at 39 each, but as of his Backlash match with Samoa Joe, which admittedly most people didn't even see, Reigns surpassed Hulk Hogan on 11. As of Hell in a Cell, he's up to 13. Yes, they did have less of them in Hogan's day, but Reigns only had his first one in 2015 when he took on Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. In just 3 short years, he shot past Punk on 10, Edge on 9, Angle on 8, and Jericho on 6. Number 4, but since he beat The Undertaker, Reigns has lost way more than he's won. Now, yes, I hear you. Well done, Adam. Of course Reigns has this sort of pay-per-view record. The guy's being pushed down my throat harder than... But that's where you're wrong, my friend, as his actual success rate isn't as impressive as you'd probably think. It's often said that beating The Undertaker was the true making of Lesnar, and that Reigns was afforded the same privilege because he was next in line for that spot. But Roman's actual win rate on pay-per-view is astonishingly rotten. Since WrestleMania 33, he's failed to win almost twice as often as he's actually won. 5 wins over Cena, Joe, Jinder, Brock, and in the Elimination Chamber have been accompanied by losses to Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley, 2 from Strowman, 3 from Brock himself, a failure to win the Royal Rumble, and Hell in a Cell's no contest. Not exactly the mega push we assume it to be. Number 3, Brock Lesnar's pay-per-view pins per day. Pure bit of self-indulgence this, and a stat that carries so very many caveats, but can you guess what Brock Lesnar's pay-per-view pinfall loss per day record is since he first debuted in one for WWE? Well, let's say that was about 16 years ago, and he's been pinned 6 times on pay-per-view since then, so yes, a little bit of maths, divide by, yes, carry the 1, and Brock Lesnar gets pinned on pay-per-view for WWE once every 1,000 days. Yes, I know, he goes missing from TV for ages and missing from the company for even longer, but bloody hell. 1 pinfall loss every 1,000 days. The man gets beaten about as often as he passes a piss test. Number 2, Rusev has no win on pay-per-view in the last 2 years. I give up. Despite his obvious ability and popularity, Rusev can't claim to have picked up a single pay-per-view victory since he successfully defended the United States title against Zack Ryder at Battleground in 2016. Yet another shining example of someone managing to get themselves over in spite of the fact their fans are given precisely nothing substantial to ever cheer. We are now up to 12 consecutive pay-per-view losses for the big man. The closest he's been was Roadblock 2016 when he beat Big Cass on the pre-show by countout when Lana knocked Enzo down and Cass went to check on him, thus not making it back into the ring for the 10 count. Just to reiterate, I give up. Number 1, after AJ Styles, the wrestler with the most successful pay-per-view title defenses in 2018 is... Here is my absolute favourite statistic quite possibly ever. AJ Styles has been one of the most fighting champions the company has seen in, well, forever. 9 defenses this year alone, and against 8 different opponents, the man has been on a tear of supremacy, and as such, you have to hand it to him. But second only to Styles in terms of dedicated strap holders and thus protected booking, lol, is former SmackDown Live Women's Champion Carmella, with no less than 3 successful defenses, 2 against Asuka and 1 against Charlotte. Every single other title holder in the company has mustered no more than 2 successful pay-per-view defenses in the year of our Lord 2018. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, even Nicholas, not one of them can as yet boast such a dominating reign as Carmella. I love stats.
So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor.